It's Tuesday morning. You know what that means. We got a big show planned for you guys. We have bad news for New Japan. We got a big return on Raw. We have a Mother's Day special where we talk about our favorite mothers in wrestling. And of course, we have Deep Thoughts with the Ninth Wonder. This is TSL.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And welcome back to Total Spotfest Live. I am JJ Brownlee, coming to you live with my trusty co-host, Mr. Jamie Faulkner.
What's up, drippers?
Oh, okay. And I don't know where you're coming from with.
We'll come back for
I know where you're
clarification.
going. Yeah, it's okay. You threw me for a loop there. Just like the man that is with us, Jamie, it is a person who would Vince McMahon walk himself into the middle of a funeral. It is the ninth wonder of the world, Nick.
You know, I do have an inner Vince. I try to keep him under wraps.
Could you
hard
just
work.
see that, like an old coworker, like a step uncle third removed, and then here comes Nick, just cock of the walk. Thank you guys for joining us. This is Total Spotfest Live. This is our Tuesday wrestling roundabout. We're going to talk about some New Japan stuff going on. Going to talk about a little bit of Impact happening. Under Siege is on its way. May 15th is their next pay-per-view. And if you're not, spoiler alert, it's going to be a good one. There's some unbelievable stuff in lined up here. We are going to go through WWE real quick, talk about our favorite mothers in wrestling. And, of course, we keeping it going with Nick in his own segment. So hopefully that doesn't blow back in our face. One day it will. You know that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, we're going to have it's going to be like Boondock Saints in here and just, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be terrible. But
Yes.
We want to thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a big shout down below. If you want to give us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe if you like what you see. If you want to holler at us, you definitely can on Twitter at Total Spotfest. You can also get a hold of Jamie and myself. Jamie is at jfaulkner56. I am at jmoney1536. For Nick, you have to do smoke signals. It's too complicated. Don't even worry about it. But this is where we're going to get going, and we're going to not waste any time. We're going to get right to it because we got lots of things to talk about. So,
Yes.
Jamie, why don't you start us off? You're going to do some New Japan, but you have numbers from last week, right?
I do have the numbers for last week.
Let's do it.
There was a few surprises, gentlemen. So Impact, I actually have Impact's numbers this week. I failed you last time, but Impact drew 123,000. That's actually up 3,000 from their last show, but they are still collectively down from when they moved from Tuesdays to Thursdays.
They're like 160, 170 consistent when they're on Tuesday. So
Yeah.
need to find a new
that's not
network.
good.
Need to find a new network. I'm just saying it.
Yeah. They could partner on TNT or something, Who knows? CNN. Let's go. So the next show is NXT. NXT actually did 761,000. That's up from 744. So that's a nice little jump, but still collectively down from everybody else, which is kind of sad to see. I figured that their numbers would also go up with the move, but their numbers have actually gone down since the move, like for the most part, or stayed the same.
Weird.
They've been stagnant.
They're very consistent, which is not necessarily what we expected.
Yeah, I was expecting more. I thought they'd be in the 8s or 9s, honestly, because of the separation.
Maybe a million,
because of us
yeah.
fanboys. Yeah.
Right.
Raw.
35 people. Okay.
Yeah, no, pretty much. 1.872 million.
Oh, man.
And
How the
it is a
mighty have
shit show
fallen.
right now.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen.
It's pretty bad. But on the other side, the SmackDowns of the world, they went big. They got 2.282 million. That's a big showing because they were under 2 million the last two shows in a row.
They've been around. I think that's the biggest audience they've done in a couple months.
Yeah, even the Raw after WrestleMania didn't pull this.
And we're going to talk briefly about Raw and SmackDown later, real briefly. But I did have a couple things about, little observations about this week's SmackDown of why it was a little bit higher ranked. So stay tuned for that.
And then the biggest news out of this, which was also a little surprising, I was predicting just off the cuff that AEW would pull a 1.5. They did not do that. They pulled a 1.09, which was a little bit lower than 2 shows ago. But they're the big winner because they were, first time ever, the #1 show on cable TV. That is huge.
That is huge.
It's a big deal. Maybe it's just a bad. I read somewhere it's just a bad night for cable. I don't know how that. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah, I don't either.
whatever. But here's the interesting thing too. This past show was the first time they beat the previous week's Raw and SmackDown, because that's for them. That's the way they look at it. The previous week's Raw and SmackDown in the key demo. They had like 0.74 or whatever. I think like SmackDown had 0.6 something, and Raw was like a 0.4. Terrible. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's the first time they beat them in that, was it 18-45 demo or whatever it was, So, hey, you get a win where you can, and 1.09 is still good. Like I said, incremental stuff. Get a million, stay at a million. Get 1.2, stay at 1.2. Get 1.5. And then by the time they get there, they'll be beating Raw.
Yeah, and again, that's not their goal. Their goal is to be a good wrestling show for wrestling fans,
Right.
unlike WWE products.
And for TNT, if they get a million every week, TNT's ecstatic. That's perfect
Yeah.
for them. Their money maker's NBA, This is
Oh,
gravy.
yeah.
This is gravy. If they get a million every week, like, shit, yeah, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, no, it was very impressive, and it's a good showing. We had our thoughts about Blood and Guts, but it did bring the viewers, so hats off to them.
I mean, yeah, and we'll talk more. There's a little bit more AEW stuff going on, but I want to talk about that on Wednesday when we get to our AEW show. So.
Absolutely, there's some good things going on with AEW.
Oh, spoiler alert! In living color. I know that's not a good spoiler. They're doing live shows now. Okay.
Yes, I know. I was like, what?
I fucked it up. Just keep.
I was
keep
like,
going.
I was like,
Keep
I
going.
missed Fire Marshal Bill or something. in the
No,
wings.
I nicked. Good reference. I nicked it up. Please move forward.
Say, homie, the clown's on deck.
Homie the clown.
Let me
Don't
show
mess
you
around.
something.
God, I love that.
Okay, we're gonna get off
So there is some good news and some bad news for New Japan. So we'll just go right into that. And New Japan, night 2 of Wrestle Dontaku, Will Ospreay successfully defended his championship. It was a great match. It was, I would say, easily a 5-star, and creeping
Metzger gave
even
it
higher.
6. Metzger
Yeah.
gave it 6 stars.
It was amazing. It was one of the better matches I've personally watched in a while. Like the Escalera de la Muerta level. Like it was that level to me of excitement.
It was unbelievable. It really was.
Yeah. So great news there. Also, I don't know if you guys knew this because we talked about Jay White winning the night before, right?
Yep. He beat Tanahashi.
He became the first quadruple champion in New Japan's history.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know that. That was
That
news
can't
to
be
me.
the first one.
First one ever.
Huh.
Quadruple.
Okay. All right.
4 for those at home who don't know what quadruple is.
In America, they call that a Grand Slam champion, but still.
So that's the good news. That's the good news.
What's the bad news?
So, several New Japan superstars tested positive for COVID-19. Like 7+.
Wow. Didn't they call off some show too?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. But wait, there's more.
Oh, really?
So-
I didn't. At least I only caught part of that headline. What's
Yeah,
more?
so they did that. Then also Japan came out with the government came out with new protocols for COVID-19. And their next show was going to be Wrestle Grand Slam at the Yokohama Stadium and and the Tokyo Dome. They're supposed to do both.
That's the big event. It's going to have
That is one of the biggest events.
Ospreay and Rainmaker and
That has officially been postponed. So Will Ospreay and Okada has officially been postponed. And
Damn it.
That hurts. That hurts my heart because that is a match I've been dying to see for roughly 2.5 years.
I mean, we could show it at Double or Nothing if they like. I mean, they could just fly over here if they're not sick, and I mean, hey.
I mean, we do have the U.S. Championship of New Japan getting defended on AEW this week.
Oh man, that's that. So it's just postponed. They don't have any idea when though.
It's just been postponed. They don't know.
They're having a big flare up over there. It sounds like in Japan.
Yes, it's getting.
Aren't the Olympics in like
back.
2 months?
Yeah. The thing is, which this is the funny thing.
Sure.
This is the weird thing. So if you guys follow any of this COVID stuff and vaccines and whatnot, they actually have a terrible supply of vaccinations. So
Really?
Japan?
Yeah. So they're not like, and most of it's made in
would not
China,
have
as we all
guessed
know. So you figure that'd be like stop one. No, it's most of it's going to the U.S. because whatever. Thanks. But
Well, we make our own too here. We have
yeah,
several.
I mean
plants.
we do, but
There's Michigan. There's North Carolina.
yeah, but they don't have as much, and
So they rely on
densely populated.
imports.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
they did not.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I am deeply saddened by this news. Deeply sad.
Are you so basically is it New Japan is basically on hold for now? Is that what's going on?
Kinda, they're gonna go back to restricted again. They might not have
Okay.
very much going on. I mean, that comes right after
They'll
Tama
have strong still, won't they? Because that's in America.
That's United States. They'll still have strong.
Okay.
But that literally this came on the heels of Carl Anderson being called out by Tama Tonga. And El Phantasmo's making his Impact debut. Like they have all sorts of stuff. Those guys might be able to not go back.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, speaking of that, did you have any more on New
I have
Japan?
one last piece
Okay.
that
All
will
right.
give us a glimmer of hope.
Put a pin in El Phantasmo because I'll come back to that very shortly here.
Okay. So, glimmer of hope. Chris Jericho, who has got a lot of pull in AEW, as we
does.
know, has pitched an invasion from New Japan into AEW.
Okay. All
Like,
right.
and it's getting some steam. So again, with this whole Bullet Club, no one can stop the Bullet Club type thing. He's pitching hard for something to happen at Double or Nothing. And if those guys can't do anything over there in Japan, I think they can find some work here in the States.
I mean, if
Be
you,
fantastic.
it really would, especially depending on who they get. We've already seen Kenta. The Good Brothers kind of are in there. Kenny Omega. Well, I mean, the Elite's technically separate from Bullet Club.
I'm calling this now. GOD's coming. Calling it now.
Phantasmo's already here.
He's already here. Kenta's still here.
Kenta's still here? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could see, basically, I bet the entire Bullet Club comes, or some of them come, and they're going to do this little cross thing, and Okada comes, because he's been wanting to come back to the States for a while.
Well, they've been saying, Metzger said a little bit ago, he had a big tip, that Okada, it's pretty much a done deal. He will be appearing in Impact or AEW sometime this year, which is the most ambiguous, exclusive I've ever heard in my life. It's like, hey, it's going to happen sometime in one of these two. But it's gonna,
Yeah, so I do have some AEW news, or do you want me to hold that?
Hold it to Wednesday.
You sure?
Go for it then. F
okay.
it.
Okay. Guess who's going back on the road?
All right, well,
officially.
Yeah, we'll let it go. Yeah, because I already said, fuck it, go.
Yes.
Let's do
So
this.
confirmed, Miami, Austin, and Houston. I think it was the other one.
Miami, Dallas, and Houston.
Miami, Dallas, and no, Austin's on the list. Austin.
Well, that's Austin.
They're
Dallas,
full capacity
Dallas,
in Texas now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, Texas is like Florida. They're completely open, 100%. Yeah. So
Yeah, I still have to
it's-
wear a mask at Universal. Whatever.
Well, it's individual business. Hey, we're still in a pandemic technically. Okay, but no, it's Austin, Dallas, because it's not Houston. That's right. Okay.
Yes. Austin, Dallas, Miami are first.
And then
Milwaukee had something that they're going to do, which we talked about, and then they're going to do All Out or
All All Out would be next. Yes.
Yeah, All Out potentially is going to be at Vegas because they were wanting to go over to Vegas for it because that's where
they
it was
wanted to
originally
go
gonna
to
be.
Chicago, but it doesn't seem like that Illinois is going to be opened up.
No, so it's probably going to be Vegas, and that's a pretty cheap flight. Just saying.
Yeah, and you got Marriott points, so
I do.
we'll talk about that. And then they announced future dates. One of them, St. Louis.
Which that's only 4 hours away, bros.
4-hour
going.
drive, 3.5 if I've ridden that thing a million times. So, hey, November 4th, we'll see. So.
St. Louis and White Castle. Let's make it happen.
Oh, yeah, if we're going to St. Louis, we're stopping at White Castle. I don't know if you guys listening are fans of the White Castle, but yes, I do not leave with. We don't have any in Kansas City, so whenever I drive through Columbia or I go to St. Louis, I always come back with a 20-sack of Whiteys.
Yeah, and if we eat them on the way, I mean, we'll be ready to deliver that food baby by the time we're home. So
I expected that. Like I said when we talked about last week on AEW show about them going full capacity at Double or Nothing. I'm like, they're gonna start traveling. I just feel it in my bones. And
yeah, no,
we're here. July is when it starts. July 7th.
Yes. So when you get to Raw, I do have another piece of news, but we'll hold that for because that's going to be a good topic of discussion, I believe.
Bundle up, put in your pocket, and we'll get back to it. Let's shift gears and talk about some Impact stuff. So
Yes.
this week's Impact, and here's the thing. Okay, since I've gotten back into watching Impact, and guilty as charged, I don't have Impact. I don't have access on my TV subscription. I have YouTube TV. They don't have access. I watched the Impact a couple days later on their website for free. It's their website. They put it up there for free. I feel like whatever. So it's nice there's no commercials, but I feel like, I'm not really helping their cause because at the end of the day, Impact's been good since I've been watching it. It's not the best thing out there. Some of their promos are cheesy and campy still a little bit, but the in-ring product is right behind AEW for a lot of stuff. It's
real.
Good. It is good. And this show was no exception. So if you remember last week, they talked about they were doing a 6-person match at Under Siege for the number 1 contender to Kenny Omega's unified Impact World title. That's way too many words. Oh my God. But there's 3 qualifying matches last week and there's 3 tonight. Well, they opened up with the first one, which is Chris Sabin versus Rhino, kind of an old school TNA match there. Rhino's one of those, he just doesn't age. He's still the same guy.
Doesn't at all.
And he still performs the exact same, which is great. I love it. And Chris Sabin is very underappreciated in general. He's very good. People forget he's a former world champion, so he's not just the Motor Machine Gun. He's got it all. Sabin ends up getting the win, so he's in the match. And then they had the graphic. And remember that last week's Sami Callihan Eddie Edwards match ended with Kenny Omega and the Bullet Club or the Elite, kind of disrupting things. Well, they did a little replay of it because Sami Callihan was on the graphic, and it turns out that Sami Callihan was actually attacked first. So as soon as he was attacked, that's when the ref called the match. So he technically won by disqualification, even though they beat the shit out of both guys. So
Interesting.
Well, it didn't really matter. Sami Callihan's one of 2 people who approached Don Callis. He approached him last week in a backstage thing, and there was a guy a little bit later on tonight. It was Moose that Don Callis actually approached Moose. So if you're a betting man, those would be the 2 I would say. Moose was in the main event. I'm skipping around a little bit here. Moose was in the main event, and he beat James Storm to earn that final spot. So Moose is in it. And Moose's contract expires in June, and as far as I know, it's expected he's going to re-sign with Impact, but there have not been any definitive rumblings that's a done deal for a contract that's 1 month away from being expired. So
Yeah, and rumor has it WWE has been a knocking.
I mean, his whole shtick is a 5-tool player. You know, he's got it. Look, first time I saw Moose, I go, that's a huge mass of a man right there. But man, he has gotten trim. He's got this persona about him. His entrance, if you've never seen it, go Google it. Watch it on YouTube. It's just blackout and then kind of like fades from the darkness, and it's a really good entrance. He has this whole like, move slowly, speak soft, speak softly, carry big stick type of shtick to him, and he's vicious, but he's still athletic. He's a great athlete, so it would not surprise me. He's definitely somebody that Vince would be like, yes,
Yeah, because I mean, especially since agreed. Like 3 years ago, he was a little bit more like Rainbow One. He's all puffy and stuff.
Yeah,
And now
he has some pounds on him.
He's more shredded than Julius Salve, man.
So those were two of that's fine. Get your quota in every week. It's all right. So those were two of the qualifying matches. The third qualifying match was my favorite match. I would say my favorite wrestling match of the night, and it was Rohit Raja versus Trey Miguel. And I had not seen a lot of Rohit Raja. Rohit Raja is the one who interfered with Jake Something last week during Chris Bay's match. He's an Indian guy. He comes out with Indian garb, but he's got this on his trunks the words "Mocha Skinned Manimal."
I like him already.
You would like this match then. I'm gonna task you, just like you tasked me to watch Jay White. I'm gonna task you to go watch this match. You don't have to watch the host. Watch this match. Okay. Trey Miguel, he ended up winning with this stupid submission. You like submissions, really, Jamie. Mm-hmm. It's basically, he starts up looking like a sharpshooter. He flips him over, turns him around, and then pulls an arm bar in there. They call it an hourglass. Oh my God, I had never seen it before. I was like, that's ridiculous. Go look it up. It's worth it. Trey Miguel won.
Hourglass submission?
Yeah, hourglass submission. Trey Miguel. Yeah, Google that right now. It's fan-frickin-tastic. So that makes it set then. You've got Chris Sabin, Trey Miguel, Moose, Sami Callihan, Zack Ryder, whatever the hell his name is now. Matt Cardona. See, I did. I said I wasn't going to do it after last week, but I did it.
Dude, I still call him Zack Ryder.
It's okay.
I can't get with it.
It's okay. You know somebody for that long, and you're supposed to just drop and call him something different, whatever. But him and then Chris Bay. Those are your 6 men they're going to be fighting, and that's going to be a great match. My money is on Sami Callihan or Moose, because those are the two who had the interactions with Don Callis. I think that those two make the most sense. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, you had a pretty good card there. Susan fought Taylor Wilde. Taylor Wilde picked up the win. Tenille Dashwood came out at the end to kind of neutralize Kimberly, who was at the ringside, And Tenille's trying hard to make Taylor her teammate, and Taylor's not having it, Mm-hmm. So next week you have I'm saving El Phantasmo here. That's what I'm doing. So you also had Kiera Hogan versus Rachel Ellering. Ellering got the win. And then next week's show is pretty loaded. You've got Havoc versus Rosemary. The winner gets a title shot against Deonna Purrazzo at Under Siege. You got Carl Anderson versus David Finlay. And then you've got Jordan Grace is taking on the other member of Fire and Flavor, who I can't Price. No, not Price. The other member of Fire and Flavor. I apologize. I can't remember. I didn't write it down here. So, and then there's one other match. Now that match comes after I talk about El Phantasmo making his U.S. Impact debut. It was everything that I wanted to see and more. El Phantasmo. If you have not looked him up, Nick, have you looked him up yet? Since we talked about him?
I have.
And what do you think about El Phantasmo, what you've seen on the internet?
I've enjoyed what I've seen so far.
It
shows promise.
This is a man he's got that cockiness to him, but it's a fun cocky, and he can back it up. He's not a tiny guy, but he's very much an X Division sort of flyer guy. He enters the ring by getting on the apron, and he just without unassisted, just jumps right up on top rope and then does a backflip into the ring. That's how he enters the ring casually. Like, his whole shtick is that there's, he's got a loaded boot, and he was great. And his match was against VSK, who I did not expect to see in Impact. I didn't know he had signed with Impact, but sure as shit, there he was. VSK has been on the indie scene for a while, if anybody's not familiar with who VSK is. So he's a very talented guy as well. But he fell victim to El Phantasmo. Phantasmo won with his spinning back heel kick. It's kind of like a mix between a super kick and Black Mass.
Yeah.
And the shtick is that he's got a loaded boot, whatever, Of course, after the match, he lies down on the ground and makes the referee raise his boot, not his hand, to let him know that he's the victor. And I say all this because next week is probably going to be one of my hopeful match of the year contenders, because they have a number one contender scramble match for the X Division title. The winner is going to face off against Josh Alexander at Under Siege. And those contestants are Petey Williams, Ace Austin, AC Romero, who, if you're not familiar with him, is kind of like Bronson Reed.
Just way bigger.
Yeah, way bigger, and not quite as agile, but he's still pretty athletic for a big dude. He's the fat guy you're looking for too. Okay, just FYI, Nick. TJ.
Oh, no, I'm ready.
TJP, TJ Perkins, TJP, Rohit Raja, who we just talked about, and El Phantasmo. Oh my God.
Yes.
Petey Williams, Ace Austin, AC Romero, TJP, Rohit Raja, El Phantasmo. Winner gets Josh Alexander at Under Siege. Yes, give me all of this. More people need to be watching Impact. This is some. If you like wrestling and you don't want to wait for AEW on Wednesday, get yourself Impact.com. Watch this. It's good. So,
Dude, I'll vouch for it, and I think that says a lot.
Actually, that does.
Yeah,
that does
quite a bit.
Well,
so.
it might not. It might not. Actually, that kind of the adverse reaction. I just happened to, while you were talking, I Googled the Hourglass. That's pretty sick. I'm a fan.
It's pretty.
It's no Lion Tamer, but it's pretty.
It's
damn
not.
good.
It's not something you've seen before. It's like,
No, that's new.
what is that?
That's ingenious.
Because a lot of times you have these submission moods, like like the Gargano Escape. It's a variation on the crossface, a little bit, and they're not like stupidly inventive. First time you saw a Lion Tamer, you're like, oh, okay. First time you see something crazy, you're like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's what I say. It starts off like a sharpshooter. He turns it, he flips it. Then there's an arm bar. It's like, okay, kudos. I like it. So.
Yeah,
that was Impact, man.
That reminds me of the one. There's a guy in Japan who starts out people like he's gonna do an STF on him, but then he pulls up their body and basically gets him in a ring as a Saturn on top of it.
Oh, okay.
It's really sick looking. But it's like that same kind of like you don't see it every day.
So the first time I saw an octopus lock, octopus hold, I was like, "Oh my God, what is she doing?" Because it was a woman who did it. It was some Japanese. I don't remember who it was. Probably.
Yeah, and like the Koji clutch is really big right now, which is a similar variation.
Yep.
It's just it's a laying down version. Man, there's a lot of good submissions out there. You can get me talking submissions all day long.
You love. I know you love some submissions. That's why I brought that up. But I mean, I like creativity, and that's the thing I like about it. And Trey Miguel's got some great creativity. I bastardized it. I called him a poor man's Ricochet a few weeks back. But. He's not quite the high flyer, but he does have that because he kind of he bears a physical resemblance to Ricochet. He's got similar tattoo pattern. They're the same skin tone. He's kind of flippy spitty. So there's some similarities in it, and he was wearing old school like Reebok pumps, which I loved. I'm totally getting off topic here, but it was great. And that match, watch the whole match sometime, is fantastic. So
yes.
Big kudos to El Phantasmo. I'm not gonna give this a spot fest for the night. I give it a definite squash fest though. So it was a good show.
Good. That's awesome. So I think it's time now that we talk about our Mother's Day special, gentlemen.
Oh, you want to talk about mothers? Oh,
I'm a mother lover. You're a mother
you
lover.
Talk about mothers.
I'm not gonna finish that song for the sake of radio.
Oh,
I was thinking Mother Lover by The Lonely Island.
Well, I was pulling in some white girls, but anyway.
Yeah, I know. So one of the things I'd like to do, gentlemen, in honor of Mother's Day, for all those moms out there, present and not, like physically present and not, but I would like for us to maybe talk about our favorite mother in wrestling. There's quite a few, actually. There's many. You can go Maria Kanellis. I mean, you can go, hell, Linda McMahon. You can go anywhere with this, guys. So, Nick, let's start with you, Nicholas, young boy. Let's start with the young boy.
Can I have two?
You have a couple, sure.
Like, can I have like a mom and a stepmom?
Oh, are we going the stepmom route? Because I've seen videos about that.
I have a
right,
stepmother.
so-
let's not go there. Okay.
When there were exactly two people that popped up at the same time simultaneously for me, and no one else came to mind.
Okay.
Both for good reason. So my first would be Becky Lynch.
Not surprising.
Now, the cool thing about Becky Lynch, now obviously, congratulations to her and Seth Rollins on their new family, obviously.
And congratulations on her new big fat contract she just signed.
There you go.
Yeah,
that
doesn't
too.
even have to be on TV yet.
Now, this is where I like her as one of my moms for very selfish reasons, and that is
Where are you going with
that
this?
she left in Tupac style, where she was right at the peak, and right before everything would start to typically get dumb and shitty for the average person, she became a mom instead. So we got the ascent and the peak, and then we'll catch up with you in a couple years.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, I want to stop you for just a quick second there because
she did not get shot down like Tupac. I
Thank
wasn't
you.
inferring
Okay.
that.
Yeah. That wasn't
Wow.
the best frame of reference. I'm just like
No.
Tupac did decide to leave.
I didn't
He
set that
definitely
up
got
properly.
shot.
Yeah, what are you gonna say? Sasha Banks is gonna order a hit on her?
Maybe she did. Maybe this is all okay.
They're gonna get in a rapper's beef. But no, he
She
went
got
out
Seth
on top.
Rollins to
That's
knock
what
her
made
up.
me
That
think
was
about
her
it.
hit.
Yeah, I didn't set that up properly.
no,
Thank you.
no, you did. But
Now.
that's great.
But now, if I were to have a mom, if I was a professional wrestler and I wanted to have a mom figure,
Okay. All right.
then it would be none other than Vicky Guerrero. Like, there's nobody else.
Excuse me.
There we go. So those are my two. I don't even feel I need to explain the Vicky Guerrero.
No,
It's just, it's an obvious.
Perfect.
Who else would you want for your mom?
I mean, I could think of like 10 others, but she's.
I can
pretty
think of a
solid.
few. I think of a few others. All right. Well, my choices for wrestling mothers. The first one that hit my head was it was real close. It was like bam bam. But the first one that hit my head was Maria Kanellis.
Larry Sutter, yeah.
Which you did definitely say, and it was okay. That's fine. You didn't steal my thunder totally, but us, I think maybe because she brought her pregnancy to the front of our TVs,
Yes.
be it in a terrible cuckold angle with her husband.
So terrible.
But I also just have generally been a fan of hers for a while, and I've been a fan of Mike Bennett's for a bit too. He's now like completely sober for like going on like 18 months or something stupid like that. So I'm, if you don't follow them online, he's been very vocal about that, and about trying to be a good father and all this stuff. And so, I think that in the middle of all that, here she is being the Rock, and that's the type of, that's the type of mother you really want to have. That person that's gonna, stand by you, help you out, but also raise the kids. And it's like, and she often has been kind of misinterpreted, I would say, and not necessarily gotten the best shake everywhere she's been. WWE. So she was the first thought that came in my head when it came to wrestling mothers. And then immediately after that, I thought about the mother of the most exuberant children ever, Miss Rebel Hardy.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
that's a
there you
good
go.
one.
Yeah.
Come on. Lord King Maxwell, Lord
Yeah,
Wolfgang.
no, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
even know what
feel
the third
silly
one's
now.
called, but and then I think they just had a fourth one too, a girl finally,
Yeah,
if
girl.
I'm not mistaken. So kudos to him. But yes,
Good call, JJ.
the broken mother herself. Queen Rebel.
That's pretty solid. So if we're giving 2, I'll give 2 as well, gentlemen. And I am a child of the Attitude Era. That's all there is to it. That is just all there is to it. So both of my
Say who I know you're going to say. Say it.
So my first one is Mama Benjamin.
Ooh, okay. That wasn't my first. Okay.
Yeah, I know you thought I was going to say Mae Young, didn't you?
Nope. Nope.
So Mama Benjamin, hopefully everybody remembers that terrible angle back in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, where she was always coming out with Shelton. I loved it. I thought it was corny and cheesy and everything that was completely wrong with the world, and it was perfect. So she got my nod.
Terrible.
I mean, it's easy for me to say Trish Stratus on this one, but I'm not going to.
Damn you! I thought for sure that's where you were going. Okay. All right.
No.
All right. I'm wrong.
I'm going somewhere completely different. Stephanie McMahon.
Oh.
I'm gonna give her props because
Touche.
she's been DDT'd, slapped in the face, armbarred, hit with a chair in the head. She's got stitches. She's been in WrestleMania main events, and you know how she did that, gentlemen? Simple. Her freaking last name. But
That's pretty easy for her.
it's not because of her talent. She is the legit most talentless talent that has ever graced WWE, WWF, TV that's wrestled as a woman, other than maybe Eva Marie, which we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, she deserves to be on this list because you know what? She's actually fought for the women's wrestling, even though she can't. I'm going to give her some props there. As much as I don't like her personally, I'm going to give her props for what she did for the women's wrestling revolution because she wanted it to become something big in WWE, and she was very successful with the right talent. She got lightning in a bottle and took advantage of it, so she gets my nod as my number one mother in wrestling.
That's a very I did not see that coming, but it's a very valid point.
I mean, I could go Trish Stratus for obvious reasons, but I decided
thought for sure
not to.
you're gonna go one of your favorite female wrestlers of all time. I thought for sure it was gonna be Trish Stratus.
Oh yeah, I mean she's amazing. I mean I could have went Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa's got a child.
Thunder Rosa got a child. Mickey James is a child.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Tamina.
I'd like to give an honorable mention to Sue over in AEW.
Oh yeah.
Who else would you want to catch a minivan ride with?
Yes.
I almost picked her too because I love Sue.
Sue reminds me the closest to my mother. God rest her soul.
There you go.
She reminds me the most of my mother from any of these characters, because she would definitely be that one that would drive us up to what the basketball game or wrestling match, So yeah, touche.
I mean, an honorable mention for me, of course, is Mae Young having Mark Henry's.
Oh, yeah.
Well, of course. Why would it? Why
she took
would
a
it not
power
be?
bomb.
Multiple
She took
through
a
multiple
power
tables
bomb.
at 80 effing years old. She is a saint.
Yeah.
To finish this up, one last shout out to Renee Paquette for birthing a child with John Moxley. That poor kid is going to be. I don't know. Has she had the kid yet?
No, she's about to pop any moment.
Do they know if it's a boy or a girl?
Yes, I believe it's a girl.
Oh, thank God! Because if you have a boy from John Moxley, you are never sleeping until you're at least until that kid's at least 17.
Yeah,
I mean,
Probably.
I have daughters, and I suffer from the same thing.
I know, but they're not. Yes, so yeah,
me walking around, jumping through glass coffee tables.
I know, and like 3, him and Dad like sitting there having a fluorescent light pole fight in the middle of the living room.
Yep.
Or it's gonna be just like Willy Wonka, when he's like, "Give him a gun, not till you're 12." So it's like, "Dad, I want a barbed wire bat, not till you're 12, son."
Yeah,
exactly. Well, let us know what you guys think. Comment down below or give us a tweet. Let us know who are your wrestling mothers. Who would you consider to be mother figures? Your favorite mothers, MILFs, if you're so inclined.
Yeah, if you want to go mother lover, go mother lover.
If you want to go there,
ladies,
go
I
there.
don't care.
I mean, there's a large section of the internet devoted to that. So who are we to say no? But let us know. Give us a comment or give us a tweet at Total Spot Fest. So okay, let's.
Yeah. Which one would you like to have stuck under a coffee table and laundry chute, or
Moving
other things?
swiftly ahead here, let's talk about something else that's painful in tight situations, and that is sitting there watching WWE for the week. Now,
Nice segue.
thank you,
Yeah.
you. And I try to keep it as clean as possible because I could have taken that real bad. So, interesting fact about this week's show, specifically SmackDown. Remember I said I had a little thing I was going to come back to about SmackDown?
Yeah.
Well, Jamie's favorite behind-the-scenes character in WWE, who's been running both these shows for God knows how long, right? For a little bit here. He had zero input on either of these shows because Mr. Bruce Pritchett's on vacation. So this past Friday SmackDown was run by, and then one of the producers was like not there too. I don't remember the dude's name, but whatever. So this past Friday SmackDown was run by Triple H, which if you watch SmackDown, it still was SmackDown, but it was better than it had been in weeks. Now, that doesn't mean there's a lot that really happened that's noteworthy. The biggest thing is that Jim Uso came back. So you have both Usos are now here, and they're basically rehashing the whole story with Jim, where, Roman tells him to fall in line. He's like, hell nah, and so but he's there for his brother. So they're going to, after they're done with this whole Cesaro thing, because there was quite a bit devoted to Cesaro and Roman, because that's going to be coming up at Backlash this Sunday. I could very much see them moving that into the main fold, where it's going to be basically Roman doing the same thing to Jim that he did to Jay, breaking him down so he falls in line.
Like
they're playing
for 3 months.
I mean, they're I guess like I said before, they're playing this stupid longest game on this whole head of the table thing. Anyway,
They just need to bring them all together quickly. Have him, have Tamina, get every Samoan in there and just do it.
Yeah, and they tease something that's very interesting. So the opening match was actually Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, right? And the Usos were at ringside the whole time because, whatever. There was a promo by Roman to start it off, and then eventually it delved into this match. Sure. So the Usos tried to get involved with the match, and Rollins stopped them. No, you stay out of my business. And then, one thing led to another somehow, and Jim super kicks Seth, and then Cesaro does a diving crossbody on him, ends up costing Seth the match, give or take. So after they come back from commercial break, this is the cool thing. Here's Seth Rollins in Roman Reigns' office, and he's the only one who's actually ever been able to talk to Rollins in this way since he's come back in this whole head of the table thing because of their past history. And he references that, and it makes you think that, yes, this is the feud that I really want to see. I want to see these two really go at it because that's, as much as I love Cesaro, he's got no shot, right? We all know this.
He's going to get buried.
Unfortunately, he deserves it, but he's not going to get it. So anyway.
Well, that's why. Yeah.
So that whole family shtick took up a lion's share of the show. Of course, this was the throwback show. They kept showing old clips because it had something to do with NASCAR's race this past weekend was a throwback. I don't know, whatever. Pat McAfee was dressed as old school Vince McMahon, and they kept showing old clips, and they had old graphics up, and it was just you're trying too hard.
And can you just finally admit that Pat McAfee on the announce team is pretty good?
I don't mind Pat McAfee on the announce team. I really don't.
He's pretty damn good.
I am totally wrong in my assertion of the new announcers because he's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Adnan Virk is not.
No.
I liked him the first night because it was a fresh voice, and I remember he did baseball, and it's wow, this is not good. So he was pretty good. What wasn't pretty good is what they're doing to my girl Ruby. Hey, Ruby. So Ruby Riott had a match. I'm not kidding. She actually had a match against Carmella. Yeah, a different person.
What?
Yeah. it was fine for like about 2 minutes, and then it quickly turned, and Carmella won instantaneously, and she's obviously next in line for the Bianca's title. So, sons of bitches. Anyway, before I get too mad, there was a few other stuff they had going on there. One of the Mysterios, I think the younger one, beat Dolph Ziggler. Tamina had a match against Reginald.
It's our boy.
It's not. It's not our boy. Yeah, I don't know. You bitch and whine. No,
He's SmackDown's Cameron Grimes. Can we all agree?
No, he's not SmackDown's Cameron Grimes because Cameron Grimes actually wrestles in matches. Reginald's been in 2 matches against women, and neither one of them has lasted more than 20 seconds. He just goes out there, does some parkour shit.
Sounds like college.
Super kick, and then somebody interferes and the match ends. It's if this guy.
I don't understand where all this. You don't have to be that hostile towards Reginald.
Oh, I do, because he's terrible. And the fact that you guys don't understand he's terrible makes me think that either you are huffing glue, or you don't understand the brilliance of Cameron Grimes, but yet you like Reginald. That makes no goddamn sense.
I'm just saying the heat that you're bringing to the conversation's unjustified.
Oh, it's very justified. If you've seen Nia Jax's her slave boy, Reginald, you would understand. But you obviously don't watch it, so you don't know who this guy is. Yeah. Imagine Cameron Grimes, but make him smaller, weaker, and worse. That's Reginald.
I can't.
And we're moving on
anything
because
smaller, weaker, or worse than Cameron Grimes. That's
he's
impossible.
You saw him. It's Reginald. He's there.
I might give you James Ellsworth, but that's about it.
Well, first of all, he's about 40 pounds less than Cameron Grimes. He's 2 inches shorter than Cameron Grimes. Look it up. And he's just
Wow, you came really prepared for this.
I did because you guys like to push Reginald because you think that it gets under my skin because I hate him, and yet. You guys hate Cameron Grimes, and I don't see. It's like we can't hate separate people. You just can't let it be. But no, Reginald's terrible. This thing was stupid, and I'm just moving on. By the way,
so what did Tamina do
who
to
took the
him?
pin? Did he take the pin?
There was no fucking pin. There was a super kick. Then Shayna interfered.
So
that
then
was the
he
match.
Didn't get pinned, so he didn't
No,
lose.
no. Tamina won.
But he didn't lose because he didn't actually get pinned, right? So he's still undefeated in WWE?
No, he has 2 losses.
Well, he's never been pinned.
He doesn't have a win. He's been in 2 matches. He's had 2 L's.
Tamina,
Tamina
those are off a disqualification both times.
It doesn't matter. If you win a match or you lose a match, if it's by disqualification or count out, you still lose the match.
That's what they call a no contest.
That's how. No,
it's just a wash.
No,
it's just a wash.
It was a win by Tamina by interference. So that's the way it works. By the way, there's the tag title match next week. Yep. Neither of you like. I know you guys don't like him too. That's what gets me.
I actually enjoy his flips.
How?
I like the acrobat.
It's
I watch
stupid.
AEW, man.
It's
You know I
dumb.
like the spinning shit.
I
It's
like
just something
spinny,
I do
flippy
too.
shit when it's an actual wrestler, not whatever the fuck this guy is.
He's
is
a wrestler.
Stupid. No, he's not. No, he's not. He hasn't
him up.
wrestled anybody.
Look him up. I did.
Sure.
I
sure.
appreciate him. I
Yeah.
appreciate him.
Man, at one point in
He's
time,
got a
he was
big
wrestler.
push coming, JJ.
No, he doesn't.
It's just a slow burn. That's all.
Spoiler alert: he was on Raw. You wouldn't know it because he just walked behind, Nia Jax, and you didn't see him and the rest of the night. Like literally,
Screen
he
time.
walked-
Screen time. More screen
right.
time than Ricochet. Just saying.
Well, that's definitely true. Now, what you didn't see on SmackDown was whatever the fuck Aleister Black has been doing lately, because that segment got cut.
Yes, it did.
Apparently, it was shot. It got cut. Mia Yim was supposed to debut. That got cut. That's apparently just been moved to this coming Friday, and she's apparently debuting as Mia Yim. Not
Good.
fucking reckon.
Thank you,
Not
Jesus.
yes.
Now talk about that. Let's talk about that. I think we all can agree we like Mia Yim.
Love Mia
Yeah.
Yim. I loved her when she was Jade back in Impact.
Yes, and
Yeah.
when she was able to do a red arrow, basically, she had a variation of the red arrow,
Yep.
or black arrow, whatever you want to call
Call
it
it
now.
a blue arrow because she's
Blue arrow,
hair,
yeah,
you
because
know,
her blue
but-
hair. She's a stud, and she never got
Yeah.
the push and the love that she deserved in NXT, which really pissed me off because
She
is
got
that good.
she got a little bit of she got title shot.
She got baby push.
She got a little
baby-
bit of a push. She got a little bit of a push.
Not enough. like
But she's apparently that's just moved back. We don't know what's going on with the whole Aleister Black thing. My guess is that they've already soured on him without ever putting him in the ring.
Shocker.
I predicted 3-week push, but I figured the 3-week push would be once he got back in the ring, 3 weeks and then bury him. No, three
weeks of
terrible
vignettes.
promos. And please, Aleister, just
They were
do
not
something.
good.
Get fired. You start a Twitch. Just do something to get fired. Seriously, you got to
Yeah.
leave that place.
Yeah, just go into Vince McMahon's office, just snort a giant rail of cocaine right in front of him, and go woo.
He'd probably just jump into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it was for SmackDown. Then you had a couple other like things that had there was a match that had featured like Sami Zayn, Corbin, Alpha Academy. Like it was like a 10-person tag match. That's a reoccurring theme that was happening both on SmackDown and Raw this week because we are getting ready for Backlash this Sunday.
No. WrestleMania Backlash.
Fuck that. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I am not saying that. That's
I am not watching.
Jamie is correct. That is technically what it is called. I am not calling it that because that's stupid.
That's
We all can
stupid.
agree with that, right?
Just like Cameron Grimes' gimmick. Yes.
Just like whatever the fuck Reginald is. It's stupid.
I love it. Just like push.
Push, volley, push, volley, push, volley. I am going to, from now on, going to count the screen because I'm the only one, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm the one that watches all three of these actually in their entirety. So I'm going to count for this upcoming week how much screen time one Cameron Grimes gets and how much screen time one Reginald gets. And we will compare next Tuesday. So that'll be fun.
That
Not-
would be fun, actually.
No, I'm legitimately interested because Cameron Grimes is great.
And I think you should get double points for being on multiple shows. Just saying.
No, it's not points. It's time. You can't
think it's
you
points.
can't quantify time differently. Time is time.
It's just a good indicator of a strong team player.
Yeah.
I know
Shows their
Cameron
wealth.
Grimes is a great team player. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you guys are finally coming around on him. So
No.
I
Hard
can't
pass.
wait. I can't wait till Jimmy has to wear the Cameron Grimes shirt. Your future. Well, we'll get to Cameron Grimes. We'll get to NXT. Raw happened last night. It was bad. It was interesting because halfway through it, I was riding my bike. Because after I get off work, I take a break and then I hop on my bike for a little bit. So I watch Raw while I ride my bike, and thank God because it gives me something to take my mind off of it. But halfway through it, I felt there's a lot of wrestling matches. This is a very un-Raw like. And then as soon as I thought that, flip, promo. So first half was loaded with matches. You started off with actually a match right off the bat, which I about shit my pants. I couldn't believe it. It was now all night long. They're doing this because they got Backlash on Sunday, so they're doing these like 6-person and 8-person tags and all these things. And Backlash has got the double main events are both triple threats for titles. It's just. Oh my God, we've gone back to Teddy Long. I mean, I know Teddy Long made a cameo last Friday on SmackDown, but we've gone back to Teddy Long where everything's a triple threat. It's just, come on, man. So Charlotte, Nia, and Shayna versus Asuka, Mandy, and Dana. Yeah, that rhymes, I know. Asuka ends up getting the pinfall in the win. But the interesting thing was that about halfway through the match, you hear Alexa Bliss's music, and she's on the ramp up by the entrance there in her swing set with their goddamn doll and giggling and laughing and talking about how they're here because her and Lily want to keep an eye on somewhat. It's Charlotte. Okay, it's Charlotte. We know it's Charlotte. Charlotte's going to win the title at Backlash. You're going to feud with her. That's your SummerSlam women's title. Mark my words. That's it right now. I'm thankful they've moved. Okay, first of all, you're on vacation. You had nothing to do with this episode. You weren't even
Hey.
there for the brainstorm meeting.
Hey, okay. I might be on vacation, and in sunny South Carolina. But I have to say, you're absolutely right. That is what we're going to do. But I think you already know exactly how this is going to end, right? Do you want me to go ahead and spoil it for you guys? You've been so kind to me. I think I will. So this is what's going to happen. All right, guys. So Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are going to go head-to-head at SummerSlam, and there's going to be an odd stipulation. I will not give that away today, okay? But I will give away the ending. Because we're contractually obligated, Charlotte Flair will retain, okay? I think we all know this because, once again, she's a Flair, and we have to kiss her ass no matter what.
I mean, we know Charlotte's getting the belt this Sunday.
we
Everybody knows
all know
that.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you guys aren't very subtle about setting up long-term feuds, so.
No.
It is what it is.
No.
We all see it coming.
No, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, though. That Rhea Ripley girl, you remember how I talked about how I don't like her tattoos? Yeah, well, we're going to bury her because that's what I do.
She's already getting buried. So,
Exactly.
thank you, Bruce. I still have a full other show to get through. And, I don't want to be here all night. So
And
go
by
back,
the way,
go back on vacation.
Hold on. I got one more thing. I love Reginald.
He probably does. I'll be honest with you.
I
guarantee you, it's probably his whole idea. Him and Kevin Dunn are like, "Hey, that black guy. I got an idea. We don't know what to do with black people, but we can make him like the wine person, the guy who brings you the wine, right? Wait, he could do like flippy stuff. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. You're the flippy wine guy. Go.
Because we're
Right.
racist.
So I for one am glad that getting back here. Go back vacation, asshole. So I for one am glad that they're moving Alexa away from the Fiend, but I don't like her.
It's not any better. It's worse.
If you're gonna pull her away from the Fiend, have her snap out of this shit and get back to just regular Alexa Bliss. I miss regular Alexa Bliss. Come on.
Mm-hmm. The goddess. Mm-hmm.
Yes, moment of bliss. Let's do it. I mean, come on. Come on.
One of my most favorite all-time things with her is when she double jointed her elbow and made it look like it was broken.
Dude.
And
I
came back
know.
and hit her.
It was
I'm like, that
so
was
good.
so cold. And then when she cashed in her Money in the Bank the same night, we were all watching up together. We're like, oh my God.
The three of us and your daughter, and we all four geeked out hard. It was
because it was
great.
Perfect.
Give us that Alexa
everybody
back.
thought it was what's her name? Ronda Rousey's moment. And she's like, "Fuck that noise!" Bam.
Yep. It was great. It was great. And then Ronda gave her like 2 concussions in a month. But still, it was a great moment for her. That's what we want to see. It was fun seeing the Alexa at first, right? It was kind of whoa, there we go, Sister Abigail. Yeah, we're way over it. We're way past it. Just this Lily thing's terrible. Come on, just move on. Anyway,
For the love, please stop.
You have
everybody.
Everybody, yep. Okay. After that, you have hey, Jinder Mahal's back. Yay!
Big time. The big time person is back on Raw. It's not even Marie. It's Jinder Mahal.
It's Jinder Mahal. I didn't see that coming. I'm not gonna lie.
And he looked
Don't
great.
care.
I like Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal's been looking good. When he won the WWE title, he looked great. He's now got the tag team that was in NXT that Malcolm Bivens managed. It's they're 2 giant Indian guys with like face paint and stuff. And But anyway, they have different names now. I don't know, but they're like his like new sidekicks. They replaced the
Bollywood Boys,
the Bollywood Boys, or the Singh Brothers, or whatever they're called by now. They're still in. I think they're still on 205 Live, from what I read somewhere, which is interesting. Cause I don't watch that.
To your point, like Jinder Mahal, I was never a big fan of him until he got his title run, and I wanted to hate his title run. I think we all remember that, and I
legitimately
loved
liked it. I did.
At first, I'm like, God, this is so dumb, and then I'm like, wow, I really like this. You proved me wrong.
He was fantastic.
That is the moment WWE proved me wrong.
He's very underrated. He worked his ass off to get there. Physically and with character.
He got fired and came back.
I give him all props in the world. So this was not bad, and he came out. It wasn't a squash match, but it was a definite return match against Jeff Hardy. So Jinder gets the win there, and that's fine. By the way, Jinder's now bald. He's got shaved hair. He's like a little bit longer than my skin here, but yeah. So he's got a little different look to him, but he looked good. So there's your big reveal. And then you had just a bunch of randomness going on. New Day and the Arcade Bros took on AJ Omos, Elias, and Jackson Riker. New Day Arcade Bros end up winning that, and then Randy Orton decided just because he's playing this whole I hate everybody thing. He then after the match he RKO's both Kofi and Xavier Woods, and while they're in the ring celebrating with him, right? And then as he's walking out, here's Riddle going, "Come on, how are we going to keep any friends if you keep RKOing everybody?"
It's terrible.
I hate it. Every second of it. But I don't know why. They're the future tag team champions. So.
No.
Oh, you tell me they're not going to hold the belts?
Of course they are, because it's freaking Randy Orton. But I don't want it.
I
don't want it in my
life. To hold the belt. Who's going to beat Omos? Randy Orton. He's a legend killer. He's the only one. He'll probably be the one to actually pin Omos. That's what's going to happen. We know.
Slow burn. Braun Strowman and Omos. There you go.
We'll see what happens. Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo was next. This was the botch that happened. So this was a no decision that ended up going to actually, I guess it was a disqualification. I don't know.
Double count out.
Well, they raised Sheamus's hand, so I don't know who the fuck won this. Nobody really, because what it was is that Humberto. So Sheamus is on the apron. Humberto does a sunset flip over, which is going to go into a power bomb. So he's trying to do a sunset bomb onto the floor, right? Well, when he lands and he pulls Sheamus down, either Sheamus hold on too long, didn't fall right, or Humberto didn't have the right angle, and just lands straight on the center of his back, basically, with Sheamus's ass right in his sternum. So it looked bad. Not terrible. Not like, oh my God, he's going to die, bad. But it looked bad.
Like he got hurt. Yeah.
And he tried to stand up real quick and then immediately couldn't. And then so they're trying to play it off. Never saw an X. They didn't flash the X out. But it was obvious that was the match change. And for what's worse, Sheamus was a little like starry-eyed too. So they both hit really awkward. So that's going to be on Botch Club for sure. Shelton Benjamin beat Cedric Alexander in the Who Gives a Fuck Bowl. Asuka lost to Rhea Ripley. They are doing just... You talked about burying Rhea Ripley. They've started already. Like, Rhea Ripley is such a good character. Remember when she had her title run in NXT, she barely said any words. And when they did, they were just very poignant, kind of arrogant, brash, F you sort of stuff. And she was a face, which is hilarious. But she's doing goofy ass shit. At one point in time, she went through the ropes to like avoid Asuka, and then does like the whole like neener with her hand on her. Yeah, they're doing that to Rhea Ripley. So she won. Damian Priest beat John Morrison. He gets to choose a stipulation for his match against The Miz, which is going to be a lumberjack match. And Drew McIntyre.
That is a super weak stipulation. That is a 1985 stipulation. Come on, man.
I don't care about this at all. I thought after Mania that Damian Priest got to move somewhere else, right? The Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny's gonna be gone. Bad Bunny's going back to right. So they gotta do a different thing for them, right?
Is Bad Bunny?
They just keep Damian Priest with the Miz and Morrison because we don't know what to do with this Puerto Rican guy. Why not? Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley main event. This was a decent enough match. It ended up with Braun Strowman coming out and just beating everybody up, and he power slammed Bobby Lashley through a barricade and whatever. Predictable as shit. Who cares? So
it was bad.
It was bad. It was a shit fest. I wish if we could give it lower, we would, but we don't play that game. 1 to 5.
So I know we were talking about Raw, and I had a little bit of news in my back pocket.
Yes, please talk about your news. Oh, I forgot to mention. There's the whole Eva Marie had like another promo. Who gives a shit?
Who cares about her?
Yeah, that's literally it.
But the big news was there was somebody backstage that I think he legit has X-Pac heat. I think we all can agree upon that. There was one Mr. Velveteen Dream was backstage on Monday Night Raw.
I thought about him over the weekend. I was like, I saw somebody tweeted something about that. I go, where happened to Velveteen? He's still employed. Okay.
Yeah, they fire Samoa Joe, but they keep Velveteen Dream. Riddle me that, Batman.
Yeah, well, no. I don't even.
It's a shame. He was so cool for a while.
Yeah, then you find out that he likes underage boys and girls. Like, he is a predator. And, I mean, I will say this.
That's all right. We all know.
Guilty or not, he needs to be gone. Like,
sure.
I know H says he hasn't found anything, but, like, the internet had so much stuff on him, and, like, a lot of real, like,
that's the underage thing. It's like, if it's just like, oh, he's in the boys and if he's in men and women, fine. Who gives a fuck, you know? It's like, oh, they're underage. Oh, no. And the way he pursued, what was presented was not even that, oh, shit, they were almost, no, it was like creepy ass shit.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that Duggar guy, but he's pretty high.
Yeah. He's not Jared from Subway, you know. He's not. But that's very interesting. But are we surprised?
No. Not one bit. Because freaking Jackson Riker still got a job. Like, if you're a racist or you got problems, WWE's got a home for you.
Mm. Like, you like 14-year-old girls? Hey, come work on Raw. It's cool. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We don't have 14-year-old girls here. I don't think. Well, maybe we do. Well, we'll hide them from you. Don't worry.
Yeah, unless you're Macho Man.
Oh. Moving right along here.
Back to the Stephanie McMahon thing.
Yeah, let's talk about some good stuff that happened in WWE real fast. So NXT,
there was one good thing for sure.
There was a couple good things here that happened on NXT. So starts off with a Falls Count Anywhere match this past week. Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff. This is a very good match, interrupted by a ending. So Swerve in his promos has had this like, because he's now like he's got this rapper like character. I don't know where that came from. But whatever, his promos are always in like a studio, and there's like a groupie, and there's like two like members of his entourage there, right? Well, that's his entourage. There's a name for it. I didn't write it down because I didn't want to remember it. They ended up interfering, and Swerve got the win. So for such a good match and such a good rivalry that I didn't know I wanted, and then I definitely did want. I mean, shit, Jamie got a lion tamer out of that son of a bitch.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
They're kind of turning this into a weird thing. So anyway, Swerve won that by interference. And then you called this a squash match last week, Nick, but I beg to differ. It was Cameron Grimes versus Asher Hale. It wasn't a squash match. It was very similar to Jinder Mahal sort of match against Jeff Hardy. It definitely was. We know who's going to win this the whole time, but it was fine. It was whatever. Cameron Grimes won the match. Your future NXT $1 million champion, Cameron Grimes, won the match. Nope. It's always great to see Cameron on your
TV.
#
not my champion.
Oh, poor Jamie. It's okay. You'll learn to like it.
Nope.
Then you had Casey Catanzaro and Lacey.
Evans?
Oh shit!
No, Lacey.
No,
Carter. Lacey Carter.
Casey Carter. Casey Carter. Wow, I put Lacey down here. That's definitely not right. Okay, I'm sorry, Caden Carter. So Casey and Caden backstage. Now they want to shot the titles no matter who wins, blah, 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 which is good for them staying in the picture. They get interrupted by Frankie Monet. I don't know what they're doing with Frankie Monet because I think that's the point. Because they keep having her just pop in randomly. If you're doing like a promo and you're a female wrestler backstage, here comes Frankie. Okay, sure. So they're pulling some Swerve stuff. We'll see what happens. Ciampa and Thatcher face up against grizzled young veterans. Ciampa and Thatcher won. I don't get the whole shoe thing. That's a British thing apparently from one of the takeovers, but shoes off if you hate one of them. Whatever. I don't know. Austin Theory has a match next week against Karrion Kross, by the way, because
that segment was hilarious.
So they go into Regal's office. This is great. They go into Regal's office, and it's cuckoo bananas. That Gargano has to face against Bronson Reed. All this stuff, whatever. And anyway, so while Scarlett's in there when they bust in, and so finally, Regal kicks him out, shoos him out, right? Whatever. As they're leading, Regal's just staring at Scarlett and goes, "Oh my God, those are so huge. I can't. Those can't be real. I can't. And I was like, oh shit. He's like, oh shit. So he goes, reach down and grabs her hand. She's got the claws, and goes, look at these fingernails. I see the fingernails. Let's go, So that angered her, and yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was a great segment.
So, Karrion Kross then had a promo. He's met by Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Finn Balor. They all want a shot at him. They all brawl. They end up getting jumped by Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory, who that's not going to work out well for them in the long run, but it is what it is. Then you had Saray versus Zeta Ramir. Zeta had that stupid shooting star press last week against Toni Storm. So Saray got the win here, so she's continuing it up. She almost kicked Saray's head off, which was kind of interesting. There was a great gif if you hadn't seen it. LA Knight got a win against Jake Atlas. And then you really get into the heart of the matter. So the main event was going to be Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Shotzi and Ember for the women's tag titles in a street fight. So it starts with them backstage. They're getting dressed and ready to go here. And, Candice trying to keep her focused. She goes, not worry about the boys and, focus on the match. And this is our shot. And the whole time there's a painting there that's done by Dexter. She goes and turns it around real fast. And then Dexter's in the glass window with flowers. And she goes over there and closes the blinds real quick. Candice does, and trying to keep her focus going. And so they end up getting to the match. Frankie's dog, apparently, Frankie Monet's, her little Pomeranian, apparently shit inside of the tank. So Shotzi and Ember gonna walk out instead of ride their tank out. I don't know. It was a poop joke, whatever. Mm-hmm. So 13-year-old me loved it. But they get going on the match, and the match was stellar. The match was
a good match.
Very good. You had action from the start. They really didn't have a lot of pause in it. They kept going hard from the start. Chairs brought out. And then they started just breaking all the tables. First of all, there was attempted to be a senton onto Candice on a ladder that did not hit square, and it looked really bad. Candice was on the ladder, and here comes Shotzi with her senton, and as she hits, they hit basically on one half of the ladder, and then both bounce off and fly. So it was hairy looking. It was okay at the end, but it was hairy looking. Then at one point, Ember was trying to do an Alabama slam to Indy. Yes, you know how tall each of those women are. You know that this is probably not going to work as well as you think, because it didn't. So she tried to do an Alabama slam of Indy onto a table that's propped up in the corner, and she definitely bounced off the lower third of that ladder. Indy did. So it looked rough. She ended up being okay, even though moments later she was put on the announce table, and then Shotzi climbed up to the top of a truss and did a crossbody slam onto her through the announce table. Then followed it up with she goes into the ring, Indy does a few minutes later, and she does a springboard flying elbow onto Ember that's on a table down on the floor, which leads to Candice pulling out brass knuckles, punching Shotzi, Twisted stepsister on, which is still a great name for a finisher. Fantastic name.
I like it too.
Twisted stepsister, which is her little stomp, onto a chair. 1, 2, 3. Candice LeRae is finally a champion in NXT. Her and Indy are your new NXT Tag Team Women's Champions. So great way to end the night. It was a fantastic match. I love seeing carnage anyway, so it's great. I love the way. I've had nothing good to say about Indy Hartwell. I think she has an unbelievably bright future. This was great.
Can't agree more.
Yeah.
I thought it was a hell of a match. Again, to echo your point, I really think Indy Hartwell looked amazing in this match.
Yeah.
For her level. Because she's still green comparatively.
She's still pretty. I mean, she's been wrestling for a few years, sure, but she's definitely still in the
say this. She looked better
beginning
in
of her
Shotzi,
career.
because Shotzi looked a little rough, comparatively.
I think Shotzi might be beat up. She's had some emotional things going on, too, because her father passed a few weeks back, and, so, I mean, that can weigh on you, I know.
Yeah, so I mean, but I was thoroughly impressed by the whole thing. Hell of a match.
Yeah.
So good.
Yep. Nick, did you watch the NXT at all this week?
I did watch it. I didn't. The first match was cool. other than that, I didn't really care, but the last match was fantastic. They did miss, you noted on a couple of things that didn't quite pan out, but that was fine. Everything else was awesome.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't give it 5 stars, but I would definitely be more than comfortable to give it 4. And
I'll give it right at
even
4.
though, yeah, and even though I'm not crazy about the way, they're okay, but they're, I'm not super stoked to see them when they're on TV. Man, I am very excited that Candice did finally get the belt. It's been long overdue.
It's one of those that
long overdue.
Just needs. It's kind of like, I equate it to Dakota Kai a little bit too, even though she held the title for an hour, which technically it still counts. But
Still hurts.
It still hurts. But it was good to see her win a title. It's even better to see Candice. Because Candice, from everybody who's ever been through NXT tells you, Candice is basically, let's talk about Mother's Day. She is the mother of all these girls, young kids in NXT. Literally. She's a former corporate, she's a former pastry chef. She literally makes everybody food all the time. Brings it in. It's pre-COVID she did. But so yeah, it was very great to see her, if nothing else. But I loved it. It was great. So
Yeah, big fan. I'm
All
very
right.
happy for her as well.
We're gonna give a clap. I'm giving this just like I gave Impact. I'm gonna give this a squash fest. I'm giving it right in the middle because of that last show. It was it was kind of a little bit whatever before that, but
It was teetering on snooze fest, and then that match happened.
Yeah,
and
I think-
then it definitely got me to squash.
yeah. I want to see a little more. They're doing more. Okay, first, the whole title picture. Let's get some more substance and get rid of fucking Cool Kyle. I'm so sick of cool Kyle.
Master drip. This
Oh,
whole
God.
drip thing.
Fuck,
is driving nuts.
what is the drip thing? Johnny Drip, Master Drip. It's like drip. When did drip become such a big thing? When?
So WWE learned this cool new word that's really hip with the kids.
not
drip,
new,
and
but
they're
yes.
overusing drip to the max. Zennials are using drip again. It's making a comeback, and so they've just clung to it. We're gonna use it everywhere. It's
it's
can
Nia's Hole
now.
all over again. Whatever.
It's not. I mean, it's at least a little more catchy than Nia's Hole.
Well, it is, but I mean, with the way that they're drip, drip, just stick it in your face. Whatever. I don't know. But anyway, so that was the weekend in WWE. So all in all, it was, NXT was not bad. You got about what you expected from Raw, and SmackDown was actually better, but that's not saying a ton. So we'll see what happens. Same shit's gonna happen next week. So let's delve out of this. Let's move into a completely different direction. I'll be honest, I don't know what direction we're going to go in here because we asked him to kind of give us a little rundown, and it's a surprise. So it's that time of the week, guys. It's time for Deep Thoughts from the Ninth Wonder.
Well, I'll tell you what. So this will be a little different because this last week was a little bit different for me. It was one of those where you got that hungry feeling, but you don't have an appetite. Or you've got a million things that you could be doing to enjoy yourself, but nothing sounds good. And you're just, it's just one of them feelings. And that's the way I was with wrestling last week. I wanted to watch. It was one of those things where I'm like, man, I want to watch some wrestling. And nothing I tried interested me at all. I jumped around to 16 different matches, and it was just not happening. So, what I landed on that actually suited my mood perfectly was the most recent episode of Dark Side of the Ring on Brian Pillman.
Oh, that was really good.
It was really good.
It was amazing. Now, typically in these segments, I will look at something at kind of an odd angle, just give you another dimension to it. I don't have anything like that tonight. Because of this, there was a couple things. Now, first of all, I have to say I've got some sentimental attachment to Brian Pillman. He was one of my very first action figures I had when I was a little kid.
Oh, cool.
I had the WCW Brian Pillman with the Cincinnati Bengals drawers and all that. You couldn't move them; they were just stationary. So I watched him back in the day there, and of course, on from there. So it was cool to see that. But there was a couple things about him that that really encapsulated stuff that are kind of my favorite things. And the one thing, it's a great doc. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to make time to see it because it was amazing. I love the whole series, but this episode, it was one of those where it's kind of like that movie Hereditary. Like after you watch it, like you just feel changed.
Very well said.
I haven't seen Hereditary, so
it was kind of like that. You don't. It's not for you.
I won't. It's not. I don't like
not
horror
for you.
movies. So yeah, we know this.
Well, then take it down a notch and watch Midsummer.
There you go.
That's not
There
taking
you
it
go.
down a notch at all.
We'll
That's
baby step it.
No, I'm not gonna watch either of
But-
those. But please move
okay.
forward.
If I can give you one part of this that I thought was just so brilliant, and I actually did not know this. He did this move that was so brilliant because what it came down to at a certain point, and this is kind of where I was going before in previous conversations about creative and what really makes something great. Man, this guy did something that was so far beyond anything I could even imagine. That's why I was like, I'm not even going to try anything
Right.
this week. I'm just going to tell you what this cat did. So he came to a point where he had 5 kids at home, and he's wrestling for WCW. Now, Brian Pillman, he was pretty jacked, but he wasn't a really big guy. And as we all know in WWF, which is, even though WCW was big at the time, it was not WWF. And so you know how they like their giants. So Brian Pillman's really
That
kind
was the
of...
steroid age. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So he's really, playing to the best of his ability as it is. Well, he's making a couple $100,000 with his contract annually through WCW, and he's like, man, he's going to Bischoff. I got these kids. He did that whole line. I need this job. So he pulled that, right? And he's like, man, I just don't have anything else to give you. So he goes into this character basically where he's like, okay, I'm going to take on a whole new persona and basically just grab all of the attention possible just by being the wild card. And by being the wild card, I mean he is going rogue. He is completely off script all the time, doing wild ass shit, acting like an absolute lunatic. And it works for him in the short term, within WCW.
Sure.
But as Bischoff is seeing, okay, well, whatever he's doing is working, this is where the cool stuff starts. This cat goes into Bischoff's office, and he's like, look, this is between you and me. It's a work, but I'm not going to tell any of the other wrestlers, and this is what we're going to do. And this is one step in his big master plan, and it is essentially, look, you need to fire me so I can just be like this guy that just shows up, like the guy, but I got a ticket, that bit.
Right.
And then so he gets Bischoff, and he's like, but look, everybody has to believe this. In the locker room, everybody. So Bischoff fires him, gives him his notice of termination and all that stuff, turns the cat loose. But as far as Bischoff is concerned, he's just going to come back in the next day and they'll re-sign, make it legit.
Right. It's not
And then,
official. Right. He's still on
No,
the books.
that is nothing close to what Pillman had in mind. Dude, this guy, because you got to keep that $200,000 in mind and the 5 kids at home.
Right.
This guy goes shopping, and he goes straight over to ECW, and he is acting the fool on ECW. And for all my people out there who love some ECW, you know how that dance goes.
Yes.
So he went from Monday Nitro on WCW to ECW, and he took it straight up to rated R fast. I mean, it was right up to the point where he was literally getting ready to take a piss in the ring, and then everybody stopped him. So he gets his notoriety there. Now Bischoff, the whole time, he's still like, he's just working it, no big deal. Then he goes over to WWF,
Right.
and dude, he starts acting like a crazy person. He just goes straight up to Vince, and he's just like, oh, hey, Vince, and he starts taking selfies with him and all that. Vince doesn't know who the hell he is. JR is with him, so JR is like, oh, no, it's this is who he is, and da-da-da-da. And Vince is like, dude, we got to get this guy. He had me fooled. I had no idea that was a work. So now he's got ECW, and he's got Vince saying, okay, we need to sign him, and here's some money. Now he goes back
Nah,
to
he goes
Bischoff.
to Bishop with the ammo. Genius.
And he's like, okay, so let's negotiate.
That's the
and it goes on from there. But that was some. It's a bit of a cliche in these times where you'll hear somebody say, "Oh, they're playing 4D, 5D chess," and it's it gets thrown. It's an abused term. This was some 5D chess, man, and it was
crazy.
just so brilliant, and it was so beautiful. And it was entirely of his own creation. Had he not built his own persona around that wild card, he would not have been able to pull that off on Bischoff. Bischoff to this day still acts like he knew what was going on the whole time. Everybody around him is like, no.
You got to play Bischoff.
Stone Cold, because Stone Cold and Pillman were really close friends. He had some really choice words in classic Stone Cold fashion to describe the situation. So it was awesome.
That's good.
But anyways, I thought that was cool enough for creative. I didn't need to put a spin on it, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. And then we'll do something different next time.
All right. Well, hey, it's always a pleasure visiting the Ninth Wonder, seeing what we got in this realm here. So some great stuff. The Dark Side of the Ring is fantastic. I've heard the A&E Thursday night. I guess it's Thursday nights, whatever. Where they do the weekly like little mini series documentary things. They're pretty bad too. Pretty badass.
They're good
too.
as well.
This week, Jamie, is Shawn Michaels. By the way.
Yeah, it's gonna be worth a watch.
I know. I was like, you better. I'm pretty sure you knew about that, but I wanted to make sure because
it's on my DVR. It's
good
already set.
There, I figured so much. So, well, that's what we got for this week here, Wrestling Roundabout. Quite a bit going on here, so we do appreciate you for sticking with us. Join us on Thursday morning. We'll be back to talk about AEW, a big night of AEW, 3 titles. One of them is an IWGP title. Is this the Miro Ascension? We shall see. We'll have some more stuff we'll talk about AEW too, but AEW going to be back on Thursday. We'll be back here next Tuesday. We actually got a pay-per-view to talk about. Backlash. I'm not going to call it what it's actually. It's just
WrestleMania Backlash.
Sure, there's that. It's going to be bad, but we'll talk about it. And let us know. Legitimately. Give us a comment, give us a shout, give us a tweet. Do you guys legitimately like the product that WWE, not NXT, the WWE is putting out there with SmackDown and Raw? Because when we did our little poll, we thought it was going to go one way. And it kind of did, but it definitely did not. So let us know what you guys really think. Does everybody here loathe watching these shows as much as I do? Or is it, or because it seems like, and for what it's worth, they are the 2 highest rated wrestling shows every week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But we'll talk about Backlash next week. We'll talk about everything going on. I think it's the last show before Under Siege for Impact. And hopefully we got something New Japan going on. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something strong going on. I'll let Jamie do that digging. So thank you once again. If you want to join the conversation, give us a tweet at Total Spot Fest. I am at JMoney1536. Jamie's at JFaulkner56. Nick, put your note in the sand, and in 25 years he'll dig it up.
That's right.
But we do want to thank you guys for joining us. If you like what you see, give us a like, give us a comment down below, give us a subscribe if you want to see more. If you're listening to us on any of the audio podcast places, thank you for joining us. And we'll be back next Tuesday with more, this Thursday with AEW. So, Nick, why don't you say some nice words to the people?
Love you guys. Thanks for listening.
You actually
See you next
had
time.
words this week. Very good.
Well,
very good, young boy. Very good.
It was you always stump me with the nice part. That's just really out of my comfort zone. So I wrote it down this time.
I mean, you can
just to make sure I'd remember.
say some bad words to the people. I don't give a shit.
You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want heel Nick.
I could care
It's
less,
Monday.
but they might
We've
not.
still
They
got
might
another
not.
day left.
Settle down, young boy. All right. Thank you, guys. Jamie, take us home.
All right. Well, if you're not down with TSL, I got 3 words for you. Or actually, sorry, 4 words for you. Candace, you deserve it.
Almost missed it, but I got it. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.